Hey, Chris Liepe here. Don't like your voice? Can't get the sound or tone that you want? Do you cringe when you listen back to what you do, thinking it may have sounded okay while it was coming out? You are not alone. This is very, very common. I've got 3 things you can do right now that will not only help improve your voice on multiple levels, but will also help you think about your voice differently so that you enjoy the process of developing your true voice.
So slowly, time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love.
But if you have any desire to sing well for the long haul, you really need to understand the fundamentals. There's no substitution for understanding and applying the right ways to do things at a basic level. And if you need help developing those, or you're not sure you've developed them in the right ways, click the link below and join my free voice course. That's the best place to start. And keep an open mind with the things I'm going to ask you to do. Don't knock them, don't doubt them until you've tried them. I guarantee they will work. Here's number 1. Start learning songs that are way outside the genre that you would normally sing. If you're normally a rock singer or a metal singer, start singing music theater. Start doing some Disney songs. If you're a more traditional singer, go completely the other way and start doing things that are completely different than you would ever do. Why? Because a lot of reasons we don't like our voice is that we're constantly comparing what we have to singers we want to be like. And there's this constant lack that's there. I'm not as good as any of my favorite singers. So go the other direction. Start singing stuff that you have no aspirations to be like and have fun with it. Don't take yourself seriously. In fact, start developing characters of your own that don't reflect what the original artist in this song that you wouldn't normally sing, that don't reflect anything that they're doing. Make it completely your own. It's way easier to do this with stuff that you wouldn't normally sing or even normally listen to. You're going to start to notice all sorts of happy accidents coming out of your mouth because you're not judging yourself by a standard of something you love. Number 2, record yourself constantly and in a lot of different settings and a lot of different ways. A lot of people who are starting out singing, and even a lot of people who've sung for a long time, will sing or even speak, and then they'll listen back to the recording and they'll go, ugh, that's not how I thought it was. If you do this, you haven't learned how to square how your voice feels, the sensation of your singing and the sound you hear coming out as you're singing, with the sound that comes back to you. It's not that the sound is bad necessarily. It's just that you're so used to the way things come out that when you are presented with something coming back to you that is supposed to be you, there's a disconnect. The only way around this is to do this all the time. And I'm not talking about just going down to your studio space and setting everything up and making it as awesome as possible and trying to sing really well. I'm talking about record yourself into your phone. Start reading out loud or record yourself having a conversation and then listen back to it and make notes about things about your voice. This doesn't mean, oh, I sounded really dumb there or I'm stupid there or whatever. You'll start to notice patterns in your speech if you do this. You'll start to notice, oh, wow, I do speak more monotone than I thought I did. Or maybe you speak more expressively than you thought you did. But you're going to start to notice things that you like if you have an open mind. And you're going to start to notice ways that you can change how you use your voice, even on a speaking level. This is kind of like the advice that if you have a job interview, you should film yourself answering some of the interview questions so that you see how you come off. Are you like frowning, or do you look angry the whole time? Are you shuffling or doing something with your hands, or something repetitively that you're not aware of? Yeah, you might cringe when you watch it back, but if you're not recording it as the final thing, but you're recording it to get feedback and to get used to how you look and sound, your brain is going to start making adjustments. The key is that you don't just want to watch or listen to this stuff back and go, I suck, and then go away. You want to make this an ongoing process. So record yourself when you're speaking, when you're having conversations, when you're reading something, and then start recording yourself singing songs, again, in different settings. Use your full studio setup. Mix it up. Record things piece by piece and ask yourself questions of like, well, how did that sound? How do I want it to sound? What sorts of things can I do differently during this passage to make the sound and the sensation square and come together so that it's something that I enjoy? I'm talking about being analytical and introspective about your voice instead of just judgmental. But like everything, this is a process. It can be started now, but it has to be done over time. And number 3, start listening to lots of studio outtakes and raw live recordings from artists, singers you love. This was probably the biggest point of improvement in my life when I started doing this. Many of you who've been following the channel know that my favorite singer is Chris Cornell. And several years ago, when they released extended versions of Bad Motorfinger and Super Unknown, there was at least an album's worth of material of basically mistakes, like these songs that I've been listening to for decades. Now I get to hear like a studio rehearsal version or a studio outtake where they were just kind of plowing through the song, or they were working things out, or Cornell was trying to figure out what he was going to do with a particular melody or whatever. At the same time, when I started listening to more Chris Cornell live and then started listening to lots of my favorite singers live, what it did is it lowered my expectations for myself. Well, wait a minute. If these guys have permission to sound like they sounded, if they're giving themselves permission to sound like they do in studio outtakes, in raw studio recordings or rehearsals, and even live, I need to give myself permission to sound like that, to work stuff out, to, again, record stuff and listen back and be fully okay with the fact that it's not there yet, but it's always in process. My voice is always in process. And coupled with the other 2 tips I gave you, this practice of listening to someone's like initial stuff or raw stuff and then where it ends up in the eventual studio recordings or some killer live recordings that they made, like seeing the whole spectrum of these artists' voices gives me a ton of hope that if I continue with introspection, recording myself regularly, stretching my perspective and my voice by singing things that I have no business singing and that are way out of my sphere of interest, if I do all of these things, looking at what these artists have done and all the different stages I see and hear their voice in, I can do the same. I can work with this progression. So, follow these 3 tips. Give them time. Start them right now. Your voice will improve, and in the process, you will learn to fall in love with your voice. I can honestly say that of myself. I love my voice. I love how my voice feels when I sing. I love how it sounds when it comes back. Does that mean that everything out of my face is perfect? Absolutely not. I record tons of stuff that I would never consider to be releasable or whatever. And actually, you guys hear a lot of that on the channel. But it's in that process and being playful and non-judgmental and experimental and exploratory that I find the things that I really love. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you'd like to work with me more closely and do things on a deeper level with your voice, with my help, click the link below and join my free voice course. We'll see you for more.